Hey guys, it's me, Socioscoptic. Welcome back to another What If. Today's What If is, what if Deku was a Scandinavian Viking? Or, other words, what if he was a Viking? Now, a few things I'm going to cover. Deku will not have a quirk, but he will be at peak physical strength and other things. So, yeah. So we start off in like the year, like around the Viking times, where they were basically invading New England and stuff. Deku was on his longship, along with his other fellow Viking members. And yeah. All right. So they were just returning home from a very long raid where they basically pillaged a bunch of English supplies and stuff. And keep in mind, Deku is like. Sorry for that. Deku is like 18 at this time. UA, you have to be like around the age of 20 to enter. You have to be like an illegal adult. And Deku has a really rockin' beard, like this guy's beard. Except it's like his is like a lot more shorter. Or actually no, his is a little bit longer and it's braided. So, and he's got a tattoo on the left side of his face where it's like a few runic symbols. Let me get a picture of those. So yes, he has this rune like tattooed over his like left side of his face, which is, I don't know if this is historically accurate. Don't blame me if it isn't. I just got this off Google, so. But yeah, he was known as the bloodthirsty wolf. Because yeah, why not? And I'm gonna say Deku's hair was a normal color, not the green. It was like more like brown and black. So yeah. And Deku is very well built. He's like at peak physical like performance. So, after returning home, returning home, his ship ends up getting caught in a storm, which later ends up being like washed, like, or basically the boat ended up getting like destroyed, and Deku was cast into the water, the freezing waters of Norway. So yeah. Uh, so yes, he was cast into the freezing cold waters of Norway, and his body was like, he was basically Captain America. He is basically was frozen in time inside an iceberg, and he drifted in the sea, and eventually ended up in Japanese waters. And he lay there for the next hundreds of years until it is in the present time of My Hero Academia, where a bunch of fishermen basically were fishing until they caught something on their lines. And that happened to be, well, Deku. And yeah, so Deku. Deku was, recovered by these fishermen, and later he was given to the pro heroes near Japan, in Japan, because they don't know whether he's alive or not. And they find out that he's actually still alive and try and thaw him out. So they get a few heroes in, along with Endeavor, so he can melt the ice and stuff. And once he melts the ice, Deku awakens. And he is feral at the moment. Like, he doesn't know what's going on, and he's he thinks he's in danger. So he pulls out his his battle axe and a knife from his side, and he's like growling at them and speaking in Scandinavian or whatever, the language of Norse, whatever. He's speaking in a different ancient Norse language. And yeah, the pro heroes are trying to calm him down, but Deku can't understand the language, so he attacks one of the heroes. Endeavor steps in the way and forces basically Deku to fight him. And Deku sees like what Endeavor can do. And he thinks to himself, like, sorcery and stuff? What is this? And yeah, so Deku is fighting Endeavor. He loses because Endeavor overpowers him. But Deku does put up a good fight. And yeah, so Endeavor knocks Deku out. They tie him to they tie him to a table, and they have Nezu come in, seeing if he can understand his language, since Nezu's like super smart and stuff, and apparently he's like studied every language. So Deku, he wakes up again, but he sees that he's tied up to tied up to a table. He tries to get free, but can't, because he's tied. And yeah, so Nezu comes in, and Deku looks at Nezu, and Deku says out loud in the Norse language, a walking rat. And Nezu speaks back in the same language, yes, a walking rat. Deku, to his surprise, sees that Nezu was talking, and Deku says, "What sorcery is this?" And Nezu says, "No sorcery, my friend. It's just my quirk." Deku says in a quizzically manner, "Quirk? Yes. I am Nezu. And you are?" Why would I, and Deku says, "Why would I tell you the name of my name when you captured me?" Nezu reassures Deku by saying, "We are not your captors. We simply want to help you." Deku looks around the room and sees it's basically like futuristic for him, and he says, "Where am I?" "You're currently at UA High." "UA?" Deku says. "Yes. You were, if I remember correctly, or if you remember correctly, you were basically like cryogenically frozen inside an ice cube for however long. What year are you from? Or what year do you think it is?" And Deku picks like a random, I'm going to say it's like 18 for him. That's where he's from. And Nezu's like, "Ah, I see. Currently you're in 2235, the year 2235. And Nezu, or not Nezu, and Izuku is like, "What? Is that how long it's been?" And Nezu says, "Yes, I'm afraid you have been asleep for that long." Deku just stays quiet, and he says, "What now?" "Well, you have two options. You can stay here and apply to UA for so we can help you adjust to the new world, or B, you could try and go on your own." Deku picks option A. Meanwhile, the pros are like don't know what's going on because they just see like two people. For them, they're speaking like gibberish and stuff. Finally, after a while of talking, Nezu says he agrees to join UA and stuff. And I'm gonna skip 2 years. So in this time, Deku has somewhat adjusted to his new society. The new society is basically the future. He's learned how to speak Japanese and English. What else? And he understands what quirks are. He still sometimes speaks in his Scandinavian tongue. Whenever he like swears or doesn't want other people knowing what he's saying. And so yeah. How long has it been? I can keep going. It was like 10 minutes. We'll be fine. So Deku is sitting in his dorm room at UA by himself, and he's braiding his beard and singing a Scandinavian song. It's basically like "My Mother Told Me." So he's like, "My mother told me someday I would find galleys of good oarsmen sail to distant shores." That song. And Aizawa, who has been taking care of Deku, knocks on his door and says, "All right, get ready. This is your first day at UA." Deku speaks back in Japanese. "Of course." Or, "Yes, I understand." He doesn't say of course. He's still a bit barbaric, but he has become more well-mannered. So, yeah. He gets ready. He throws on his UA uniform. He has trouble tying the tie. Dang it. That keeps happening. But he has trouble tying his tie, and he asks Aizawa for help, and he does that. And then he puts on his, like, fur cloak. You know, like in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where, like, Eivor has that cloak, but it's not, like, fully on. It's, like, when he's normally wearing it. It's kind of like that. He basically is just wearing that around his neck and, like, stuff. He has the hood up, too. And so, yeah. So, time skip, he's at UA. He's in the class. He's just sitting in the desk he's chosen. And he just is just sitting there, leaning back against his chair. And he's, like, stroking his beard. Eventually, a few more students come in, and they see Deku. And they're wondering, what's with the hood and stuff? And, whoa, he's got a killer beard, some of them think. And, yeah. And Deku's humming the song he was singing earlier. And, yeah, so... they... fucking, they... they sit down. A couple more students come in. Everyone's talking. They already made a few friends. And Deku's just sitting in his chair, stroking his beard. And eventually, a few students come up and talk to him. That would be Tenya Ida, Ochako Uraka, and I'm just gonna say it's those two. And they say, "Hello, my name is Ochaku Uraka, and this is, and you are, and Tenya says, and I am Tenya Ida. It is nice to meet you." Deku looks over uh, at Ida, and Ida says, "I'm sorry to disturb you, but you should know that you are not allowed to wear hoods at school." Deku looks at Ida. He gives like a sort of grunt, and then he takes off. He pulls down his hood, and they are surprised to see that he's basically what looks to be almost like he's basically got like a full-grown beard that's bearded or braided, and he's got a tattoo like on his face. And Ida uh, says, "Whoa, cool tattoo." Or no, or Achako says that. Deku nods and asks, "So, who are you two? Or not, who are you two? Why have you come to speak with me?" What the fuck? Okay. And they said, "Well, we were wondering if you wanted to become friends, because it's basically the start of a new year, and or a new year at the school." Deku looks at them for a second and then nods, and then Aizawa eventually speaks up and says, "God damn it!" Aizawa speaks up and says, "All right, get ready, and go get ready for like fucking training or whatever." And he tosses one of the sports uniforms. Deku grabs the uniform, gets up, and starts walking the fucking uh I'm blanking on it. The testing grounds or whatever, or the locker rooms to change. The rest of the boys follow him. And they see Deku changing, and they see he has a bunch more tattoos on him, mostly like Nordic runes, and one tattoo has a wolf sort of thing, wolf like runic tattoo, basically in the style of like Norse stuff, on his left arm. And Kirishima says, "Whoa, bro, cool tats." Deku looks over at Kirishima and he nods. And Kirishima says, "Where'd you get them?" Uh, Deku said, "I earned them." And Kirishima's confused, like, "Earned them?" "Yes, I earned them." "How did you earn them?" "I hunted, I killed, I fought for my land." And Kirishima's a bit more confused, but also a bit concerned. He's like, "Killed?" "Now is not the time for talk," said Deku. And a few of the boys were actually overhearing this. And Deku finishes putting his sports uniform on, and he heads outside. Everyone's talking and stuff. And Aizawa says, "All right. Uh, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that Izuku, whose name isn't actually Izuku, it's actually like a Nordic name. Like, I'm going to say it's like Ivor. No, not Ivor. That's already taken. Fuck. This is going to be hard. Give me a second, I'll come up with one. All right, his name was Figor. Fig or but he changed his name to Izuku, last name Midoriya. So yeah. And Aizawa says to Deku, He throws him the ball. Deku catches it and looks at it, and then looks at Aizawa, and Aizawa says, "Throw that as far as you can." Deku nods, and then walks over to where he needs to throw it. He reels back and throws it, and he throws it like far. It's like a 200 feet, and everyone's like, "Wow, that was pretty cool." But did he do it with his quirk or not? He walks back to where the other groups are, and yeah, after a while of like doing the training and stuff, Uraka and Ida, along with Kirishima, walk up and say, "Hey, dude, we never got to ask, but what is your quirk?" And then Deku just replies by saying, "Don't have one." And they are like shocked, like, "Wait, you don't have one? How did you get into UA?" Through hard work, said Deku. And well, I was also recommended too. I see. Well, I congratulate you on how far you've come without a quirk, said Ida. I thank you, said Deku. And you know what? I'm gonna cut it here. I really like the idea of this. I saw it from another YouTuber who I will post in the description. Probably not. I don't really know. But shout out to the person who gave me this idea. But yeah. Thank you all for watching. If you want to see more, please like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified for more. And I will see you people in the next video. Bye.